Hi, lady.
Okay.
Do you want to be on the podcast? You ready?
Ready as we'll ever be.
All right.
About the same height, although you're slouching.
I'm slouching. I got this short torso. I've got like E.T.'s body on like long dancer's legs, so it's sitting next to people is always an exercise. And hey, you know what?
If only E.T. had long legs.
Oh. Well, you know, hang on. Sorry. Nope.
Okay. I was thinking it would be a better movie.
You know what E.T.'s short for, don't you?
Extraterrestrial.
He's got them little legs. Thank you for joining us, everybody, on this very spooky episode of We Made the Hotel. Mark, you know?
Yeah, what's up?
I find that it's difficult with a horror podcast to turn the heat up for an October episode.
Okay.
I always try to make it scary.
Uh-huh.
Not We Made the Hotel, of course.
Unless you have any surprises right now that I have not been made privy to.
Yeah, I'm gonna, at some point during the recording, strike you in the neck once. I won't tell you when.
We used to strike each other in the neck quite a bit when I was taking ninjutsu, so joke's on you.
Wow,
my neck is full of rocks.
Old Stiff Neck Witten, they called him in the war.
Wow.
You know what I like to do when I record a podcast as a professional is
Drink.
I have my co-host has an iced coffee, and then I like to sit in the creakiest chair I could find in North Carolina and just shift nervously a lot.
If it's not mouth noises, it's chair creaks.
Boy, I found out about the D-clicker on audition the other day.
Oh yeah,
getting those clicks right out.
Now I was curious. So if you've been using the D-clicker, but does it sometimes because sometimes it overdoes it, and then you lose too much click.
I have only just started using the D-clicker. My normal method is to, as I'm listening, every time I hear a click, go, oh, God, and then I paint it out by hand.
So wait, you just looked at the D-clicker and then never used it?
I didn't look at it. I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so you haven't used the D-clicker?
No, I started.
Oh, okay,
you
started using
on
it.
the last two SCPs I've been editing.
Right.
That's
good. Test run it on SCP, then bring it over to the hotel.
Oh, SCP, the canary in my coal mine. So I've been trying to figure out, because I'm always like 5 episodes ahead from where everyone else is. This episode of We Made the Hotel comes out September 30th. So it's a Halloween episode because they get to enjoy. They're going into October.
Sorry, I'm like, what day is it today?
It's the
we won't tell
say
anyone
what day it is today. Oh my God. So I want to do a Halloween episode. Now, what this means, Mark, and I want to get this out of the way up top. I guess after about 2 minutes of tomfoolery, is we will not, dear listeners, be talking about the bellhop. Only because I think that there's more coming for you in October. And I don't know if I want to spoil that or not yet. I also don't know how much I want to tell people about what's coming in October.
Okay.
I'm always torn.
No, I feel it, yeah.
Because I try to preserve the exciting experience for the listeners as they come.
Oh, yeah.
However, as we've run into in the past, if you don't tell people what's gonna happen, then you don't get any new people.
Wait, what?
If I don't advertise coming in October, X, Y, and Z is happening, then no one who isn't listening will start. The people who are already listening, they're going to be listening. You know how you complain, the royal you.
Not entirely right. I'm not entirely sure I see the logic here. So you tell them that something new, it's all new to them. You know what I mean? Everything's new. So you could tell them stuff that happened from season 2.
Well, remember?
Imagine that this is going to happen. You know what? Not only that, you can go listen to it right now. You don't even have to wait.
Remember when, in the 90s, NBC would do stuff like, all of the shows this week will be in 3D. So go get 3D glasses from a TV guide.
Yeah.
And then we would all go, oh boy, I'll make sure to watch that.
But that seems like a broad technical thing. Are you saying that
Look, Mark.
Okay.
I'm saying there's some stuff happening in October that is exciting and might entice people to voraciously listen.
Yeah, that's nice and vague.
And I...
Hang on, I'm going to adjust. This is...
You're adjusting the mic. Anyway...
that's fine. That's where it comes from.
We're not going to talk about the stuff you will be listening to in October because I want you to be listening to it fresh and enjoying it.
But know that it tortures him that we're going to get no new listeners because we're not talking about this stuff on the We Made the Hotel, that they would already have to be listening to us and be paid. Imagine that someone out there is a patron but does not listen to the show. And we are here to try and tell them, please listen to this thing that you are a patron of.
I think that the only one of those people is Tony, who is a patron but does not listen to the show.
But then also watches or listens to We Made the Hotel.
I don't know if he does. He might. Tony, if you're listening,
Hi, Tony.
if you want the spoilers I'm talking about, just text me. I'll let you know.
So wait, what did you want to get out of the way?
I wanted to get out of the way that we weren't going to talk about the bellhop. That's all, because I'm sure people because the bellhop shows up at the end of the episode on the 15th, so they know about the bellhop. They might be
everyone
tuning
knows,
in,
yes,
and they'll be like, "Oh, well, what's the deal with that?" I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tell you the deal.
Okay,
with that.
we're not divulging extra deals because we'll talk about that in a later We Made the Hotel
next month.
Right. Okay.
I will say though that since it's not a spoiler and you already know that Rissa is playing our bellhop.
Yes.
And I poached her from SCP because she's.
Does she no longer work for SCP?
Oh no, I guess I didn't poach her. Yeah, I guess poaching? I borrowed her.
Yeah,
I guess I just hired her from that.
How about you also employed her to the benefit of the hotel?
Well, I like to present myself as a bit of a swashbuckler in the podcasting realm.
You're a vocal poacher.
Yeah. She's really great. As you heard in the episode from her 3 lines, she has a wonderful, rich voice. And I absolutely had to have her for that. And she's just so great. She's a delight to work with. And she's a big fan of Farscape, so sold.
There you go.
And I'll show you later. Izzy already sent me the art of her.
Oh,
of the bellhop. I am in love with the design of her. She is so she's so great. Anyway, so we're doing. This is a very special. We got to get this show on the road.
Yeah, we do.
We got stuff to talk about.
Don't worry, Travis. I mean, while Halloween is definitely your bag, I don't have as much to offer on the subject.
I know, but that's why I have also thought of, though I didn't write them down in my book here, I have also thought of questions for you.
Oh, gosh.
Related to...
Oh, jeez.
Not all related.
This is a lot. This is more than we had last time.
I know. Hang on. Let me show the camera because I do put work in. Look at that. Oh, but don't freeze frame that and read the other page.
You can cut it out afterwards. You don't have to. They can edit it.
They can't read my writing anyway. It's fine.
I suppose. But
so here's what I'm doing.
Now the challenge, the gauntlet has been thrown.
I shouldn't have said that. Well, why would I say that? Hey, whatever you do, don't get 10 of your friends to listen to the hotel.
Again, we can edit all this out. Wait. Is this what you wanted all along?
It's reverse psychology.
Okay.
It works on people, especially when you announce it afterwards. What we're doing, Mark, with this episode, for you, dear listener... is actually, you know what? Before we do that, I wanted to say something because speaking of the dear listener, because what I always try to present this show as if it was just like a broad show about making the hotel and not like necessarily directing it directly at the patrons. And at the end of the show, we always say thank you, patrons, and I put the names up on the screen and stuff. But I've been thinking, Mark,
go ahead,
about the word patron and where it comes from. And what what that means, because now when we think about it, it's like, oh, Patreon, it's a patron. You throw people a couple bucks when you like their art. But thinking about like the original, like it was just some like aristocrat would just find some goofy little me and be like, here, let my purse runneth over. Just continue, you foppish fool. Keep making the art. You delight me. You delight me.
Oh, okay.
And just looking at it through that lens, as it's been updated, and we're all kind of like modernized and things have changed quite a bit. No one is exactly no Duke has contacted us to fund our life while we make this, but like 100 people are throwing us a few bucks a month.
Yeah.
And I just think that's like, I was just thinking about it because I don't really support anyone on Patreon. I'm not trying to be a dick. I just haven't gone down that path. And just when I think about it, like some stranger out there, many strangers in fact, heard us doing something for free, giving them the podcast, and they said, I like that so much, I'll give you a few bucks, just so you can keep doing it. And, we all know the current economic state of things out there.
Right.
It is not always easy to just say, here's a 5, here's a 10, here's a 20. And I just think I just appreciate it so much. And I was really getting my head around it and trying to make real you patrons in my life. If there were however many patrons are listening to this, whatever it is, 40 or whatever, if we were all in the same room and you all lined up with your wallets out and handed me money and then sat down in front of us and said, would you just talk for an hour about anything about the hotel? I would be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But because there's the separation of the digital yada yada, and I'm just stuck in my office, writing in my tower, it's all very conceptual. But I guess I just would, to finish this thought, I just wanted to start the show by thanking you, patrons. We can't do it without you.
No, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I'm like kind of still lost in thought about the origin of patron and kind of like that idea of it being that sort of aristocratic sort of thing, and in a way, it really lends it actually lends a bit of, a lot of weight to it. Like, you're right, we're kind of here doing the thing, and there are people who are like sustaining what we do. And I do like the idea that term can kind of be taken to apply to everyone. Like, we can all be patrons in a way, as opposed to it just has to be someone who has some, like, I don't know, the angel investor. Yeah, a castle or something, right? That it can apply to many people, and especially like it applies to us individually with things that we wish to support, things that we wish to lift up, and that it really does mean something, and it's kind of attuned to our individual interests, and then finding the community within, which would be, God, this is getting like real big in my head. That's why I didn't say anything for a while.
That's what I've been doing all week. I just really... instead of movie recording has been stopped automatically.
Yeah, see, this is what it does.
Well, we're podcasters, so it's not shocking that we don't know how a camera works.
I tell you, it only runs for like a little bit of time. Hang on.
Okay, so podcast listeners, please enjoy every 15 to 20 minutes us stopping to restart the camera.
Right. I was also going to just inject, because we might as well while we're run down this. The difference between a patron and a retainer, like, what's that?
A patron in this case would be someone who is like funding the arts, and a retainer is like a bit of plastic and metal that keeps your teeth straight.
It's also
what you give lawyers.
Hang on.
What is a retainer? Hang on, we're drinking. Drink break. Oh no!
This is Google break. So I can actually look at this. Is extremely important because it leads to a sister company that we need to start called Retaintreon.
I really hope
that a bad name.
I hope that joke pays off. I'm rooting for you. I can't wait to see where we're going with this retainer bit, because Retaintreon, I think actually
that's probably not Retainereon or something.
Retainereon?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the Guardians of the Galaxy defeated him.
There you go. Retainer. Definition and meaning from the Merriam-Webster: a person attached or owing service to a household. Wait,
to a hotel hold.
Oh wait, so servant.
No,
so that would be us.
We're the retainers.
We're the retainers.
Okay.
No, one that retains.
What is that?
That's someone who definition. Like I retain, like I'm your retainer is like, okay. I was playing Arkham Horror, the board game, and you go and you get like a retainer, and that's someone who like you get like $1 every turn or something, $2 every turn, because you have a retainer, someone who's like paying for your private eye services.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't quite understand the distinction.
It's also a dental appliance. You know what?
We might cut this part.
The act of a client by which the services of a lawyer counselor, or advisor are engaged.
See, it's lawyer talk.
Gosh.
I'm afraid Retaintreon is not going to be launching this year.
Right.
We'll just stick with Patreon.
Okay, yeah, drink break.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, take your drink, because I was just perusing the old Mark Whitten hashtag on TikTok, as I like to do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there was someone just posting about how, I can't think of the fancy word, how much work you have out there, voice work.
There's a me hashtag on TikTok?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Mark Whitten, yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Oh, geez.
I'll show you after. And it's people posting about you. It's a lot of clips from you at cons and stuff. But this one fellow was posting just about the sheer volume of work you do and how good it is. And that's when I texted you that screenshot, because one of the voices was Raphael.
Yeah.
The Ninja Turtle.
The Ninja Turtle.
And I lost my mind because it doesn't come up, Mark. Organically, it doesn't. It's just tricky to bring this into conversation. I'm a huge Ninja Turtle guy.
Oh, yeah.
From back then.
Yeah.
My whole life. Huge on it. So when I found out you were Raphael, I was like equal parts excited and mad at you.
That
like,
I hadn't
why had
told
you
you
not told me? And it was for, what was it for?
It was for Smite.
And can you tell us what Smite is?
Yeah, Smite's a MOBA game, and it's kind of like, you know, different gods battling each other. It's very much in the same realm of like a League of Legends or something like that. And there are a bunch of different characters and character skins that they have, and so they did a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mashup where they had the turtles as one of the options for your hero skin. I actually don't play Smite. I kind of like that's it's like generally those are intense competition games, and I'm like a story gamer, casual gamer right now in my life. But yeah, I understand that they are pretty fun and competitive. So and I also did the Bok,
the chicken,
the chicken,
and I posted
Horace
videos.
Bok.
About all this stuff on our Twitter. Definitely follow. Well, this is the patrons. They're following.
There you go.
Yeah,
this is yeah.
But I got so excited that I actually downloaded Smite.
What?
For the Switch. And
you did?
I did, because I was like, I'm going to play this. I'm going to get this Raphael skin. Because I love that you're in games. I want to play as Mark Whitten, but you're always in games I don't. Right. I'm not the kind of game I play. So I downloaded it, and I played it for about 5 minutes. And then I uninstalled it. I was overwhelmed. That is not the kind of game.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea what to do.
You need to know what you're doing in those games. Otherwise, I mean, is there even a single player, like, kind of practice option for that?
Brother, I don't know. I got overwhelmed by the tutorial. I was like, immediately I could tell, like, oh, so you were born in the 80s and you haven't played video games regularly in 10 years.
They're like ability trees. You got to know what to like spec. You got to have your timings and spacing down. Like I
don't have any of that.
It's intense.
But I did last night get the Cowabunga collection.
Okay.
So I do have a Raphael. It's not you.
Oh.
But I have,
with the Cowabunga collection from what?
For the Ninja Turtles. The Cowabunga.
For Smite?
No, it's a game. The Cowabunga. It's like all 15 of the old Ninja Turtle. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's not you, but you're here now.
I can come over and like do a thing or two, but
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
just stand off to the side and just
read the lines. So, anyways, we should probably get to why we're here. Halloween.
Well,
we can cut all that.
No, they like it. They like it when we're fun.
Hi.
Hey guys. Hey friends.
I don't know how to wave on camera, so I just cover my face. They're
just listening. Okay, so here's what we're doing. After 20 minutes of lead up and preamble, here's what we are doing for you for Halloween. Or for October, rather. Is I have a list. Where's my list? Here it is. I have a list. That's not my list. Here it is.
Okay.
Of top 10-ish pieces of media, movies and TV shows that if you like The Hotel, you should watch these. You can absorb. If you're looking for your spooky watch list this season, and you're a Hotel fan, I suspect you might be. I have a list here. And though it is 10 on the list, there's far more than 10 pieces of media here, Mark, as you can see.
Yeah, there are way more.
So I'm going to start this with a very accessible opening. And a very obvious one. Let's just get this out of the way. It's The Shining.
Okay.
/ Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
/ broadly Stephen King. Because...
and that's all 10, folks.
Because obviously when you do a scary podcast about a hotel...
Right, you can't not think of The Shining.
And I have far too many Shining carpet print things in my home to really get around. Like, it's pretty obvious. However, The Shining is not at all like The Hotel, really. It's not haunted, Mark. That's number one. Number one, not haunted.
Not haunted.
Also, in The Shining, no guests.
Well, yeah, I guess they're just...
kind of.
Yeah.
No one checks in.
Yeah, no one really checks in.
It's a fun experiment in sort of like divesting. How much can you separate the two? So here are some things that The Shining, Dr. Sleep, and Stephen King have directly inspired from The Hotel. Number one, it's important to note that The Shining, for many, many years of my life, was the scariest movie I could imagine. I did not watch it. I refused to watch it. Even that scene in Twister where The Shining is playing at the drive-in.
You wouldn't even watch
I did not like
scene?
that. It scared me.
Was that where is that the moment where he's chopping through the door?
It's that and the little girl that come play with us, Danny.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they're the scariest moments that they took. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No,
now I know it. I never saw it, and then I did see it. So, but the first one I saw was not the Kubrick movie. It was the 1997 miniseries starring Steven Weber.
Oh.
Yeah, and I saw it at a hotel. And when I was 13, I think.
Yeah.
Which, if you are terrified of The Shining, I cannot recommend enough not watching it for the first time at a hotel when you're a kid. Because to this day, not to this day, that's an overstatement, but up until the last few years, if I was at someone else's house and their shower curtain was drawn in their bathroom when I went in, I would open it. I will not pee in that bathroom with that shower curtain closed because that lady might be in there. The bathtub lady.
I keep the shower curtain open at night.
Open, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, open.
You gotta.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It may call me crazy, but I'm like, maybe this is divulging too much information, please. I definitely like get into...
I'm putting your address up on screen right now.
No, I get into that mode where it's, I think my imagination runs wild. It always has, but especially like at night, it's like mirrors and shrouded spaces, and I start visualizing things, and it's like if I just kind of like try to divert my mind, but once one thing grabs a hold and I get a good visual, I can see it freaking everywhere.
Right.
And then I'm like, all right, well, we're just going to get out of this bathroom real quick.
I've actually had, I remember a roommate had to like, we didn't get into it really, but it was an ongoing conversation that he would want the shower curtain drawn.
Yeah.
After shower, because if you don't, it gets like kind of wet and mildewy.
Well, after a shower's fine, like during the daytime when nothing bad happens.
No, see, this is why we're doing this exactly. Most of The Shining takes place during the day.
No.
The part when it's nighttime, the thing that we're scared of is Jack Nicholson. I'm always kind of afraid of him anyway, so that doesn't matter. But a lot of the stuff from The Shining is in the daytime. So no, the ghosts can always get you, Mark. See, This is exactly the conversation I had to have with Andy.
No, I see. So we're
it's on another
conflicting notion here.
Yeah, see, bathtub lady right there.
Okay, bathtub lady. Yeah.
Also, for people who read the transcripts or who have noticed in the social media posts or whatever, I always capitalize the H in hotel, even if it's not referring to the hotel herself or Madame Hotel. I always have it capitalized, and it's because there's a line in the book when Jack is being interviewed by... Oh, it's not Mr. Underwood. Doesn't matter. Underhill. No, that's the Hobbit. Doesn't matter. The officious little prick who's interviewing him.
Mm-hmm.
He says something to the effect of that you can hear when he says the Overlook Hotel, you can hear him pronouncing the capital H. And I just liked that. And so I've left that into...
Hotel.
Hotel. I don't know how you would pronounce it.
Like a wheezy prospector.
I saw a wheezy prospector play in New Orleans in the 90s. They opened for Blues Travelers. Yeah. Also, this is a big one for me, and this is going to be a recurring theme on this list. I call it, why is it staring at me? And that scares the hell out of me. People will often ask me, Travis, why are you afraid of ghosts? What do you think they're going to do to you? My answer is always, I don't know. That's the scary thing. I am not afraid of, and I am a 6-foot-tall man, so there's societal reasons why I am less afraid of like a person attacking me or breaking into my house or whatever. One is like, if a person breaks into my house, while I am not necessarily a fighter, I can punch and kick.
Yeah.
A ghost shows up. That's the ballgame. I can't do anything. But in The Shining, there's so many like just over there looking at you quietly.
Right.
Freaks me out. Movie stop recording, Mark.
No, for the love. You're going to have to piece all these together.
It'll be fine.
Or we may run out of space again.
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we ran out of space the first time.
Did we?
Yep.
Why don't you have enough space?
I don't know. I deleted a bunch of. We use this.
All right. Well, we're gonna move. We're gonna move on quickly.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Why is it staring at me? Also, what's the ghost gonna do to you? Cause you great pain? Drive you insane? Like possess you? I mean, there are a number of things that a ghost could do to you. And also, to that point, We don't know. It could make you breakfast. It could like have a nice conversation. It could make you feel warm and fuzzy too. You're right. I think it's the not knowing, but the whole like ominous intent. I think it's because we still see like the human aspect of it. I always try to like, you know, I'm very loving of my fiance Kelly, and
your
so
fiance Kelly.
And so whenever we're, you know, kind of like walking down the street, I'll always point to like an open window. I'll be like, hey, look, there's someone up there. They're waving at us. You know, like just like, you know, just to make sure, just imagining that someone's just out there as you're walking and it's just a face in a window. It's really spooky. It's a very spooky notion,
right? Like this.
And you're right. Why is it staring?
The ghost is already doing whatever it's going to do to me. It's freaking me out. And then this is the big one. The other podcast that Lauren and I are on frequently, the Follow-Up Showdown with Theater of Tomorrow's Paul Getz, where we pitch movie sequels to movies that don't have them. On our Dr. Sleep episode, or movie sequels that are considered maybe not the best. We did a Dr. Sleep episode when that came out, and on that I pitched a prequel for a show called Overlook, which I liked so much, I reworked into a podcast that I could potentially, you know, because I can't stop making podcasts. Obviously, we didn't get that one made, but I liked parts of that pitch so much that I incorporated it into season 3. The hammering bones and the workers all, you know, building the hotel and stuff. That was all part of my pitch for the teaser trailer for The Overlook. So I used it in that. So check out the Follow-Up Showdowns episode on Dr. Sleep for more info on that.
With the cool Paul Getz.
The cool Paul. Also, people have asked why the owner says there are no turtles, of course, in that one episode where there's a creek. That's a Stephen King reference. I think I might have mentioned that in the reference episode. Stephen King, the Cosmic Turtle, Martyrin, you know, etc. Just Google it. It's fine. We need to move on.
He's well read. We get it. We're well read.
So, the number 1.
Did we start at number 10?
We start. This is, look, juicy opener to hook and tantalize.
Okay, yeah, that says number 10.
No, number 10 is right up
that's
here.
the juicy opener. God, we haven't even gotten to number 10.
We're not even number 1 yet.
That's number 11.
We're doing number 1 right now. And okay, so number 1 has
5.
6.
6?
This little one
I did miss that one.
Because it's easy. Hold for plane.
All right, now just run right through this plane. We got it.
So this is just because I know what you're here for, people. You want this list of scary movies to watch for October. I'm sure we're all going to learn a lot about the artistic process and our inspiration. You just want a list of some movies to watch that have hotel vibes. I'm taking care of you right up top, right now. These are just hotel vibes. In no particular order, except the order I remembered them as I was making this list. Number 1... let's call it A. Let's not number them. Let's just go. Silent Hill. 2005, 2006, 2004's Silent Hill. The one with Alice Krige and Sean Bean. Nightmare logic. Super scary. Super violent and gory. Maybe not super violent. Well, that depends on your measurement for violence, I guess. Not violence. Like, if you think, I guess someone gets their skin pulled off. Okay, pretty violent. You're definitely going to want to check a trailer for all of these if you think maybe you're, like, squeamish.
I think our taste I think it's an individual thing at this point. Like, we were just watching... Well, anyways, moving on.
Yeah. So that one, just go ahead and watch if you're just into, like, the scarier, grungier parts of the hotel.
Or play the game.
Or play the game.
Yeah, you should. I was going to say, if you like these sorts of things...
There's no games on this list.
That's the only one, Silent Hill.
If you think of any others, throw them out there.
Smite. Smite, the horror version.
The next one, The Love Witch. Now, if you are a fan of The Manager or Madame Hotel, or just movies from the 60s or 70s, watch Anna Biller's The Love Witch. That came out in 2013. Anna Biller is one of my artistic influences and heroes. I love the way she works. She handles almost everything. She hand sews all the costumes and stuff. She makes all the sets, a lot of the sets and stuff. She spent 6 months making a carpet for the Love Witch.
Wow.
This witchy carpet. Watch a trailer for that. It's truly incredible. There's not really anything else quite like it. It's a send up of old colorful horror movies from the 60s and 70s.
Is she the art and production department behind
it?
Is she a
writer?
Producer?
She's the director. She's an independent artist. Like
a jack of air trade there is.
That's right. I was lucky enough to see that movie in theaters because it was playing at one of the, LA, like, fancy schmancy indie things. I don't think it even got any kind of wide release. I had to buy the Blu-ray from, like, her website.
Direct from
them,
her. Yeah.
Not even in a fancy envelope. I got like stickers and stuff. So that's a really great time. Also, you have to know this one, The Lighthouse.
I don't.
Okay, well, The Lighthouse.
I have to watch most of the movies on this list.
That's why I made the list. You're here to like.
Okay, Lighthouse
for energy and color. That's Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, I was gonna go ahead and say that was like oh my God, Hitchcock or something. Is that not?
No.
It's,
okay.
No.
The opposite.
Okay.
I would describe it as the opposite of Hitchcock.
No, you were mentioning this one to me now.
It's got like the 4:3 ratio or 4, whatever it is, and black and white. And it has been described to me, I think Gamey was talking to me about this. I don't remember who it was exactly. Was saying it was like atrocious vibes, amazing movie.
Okay.
And it is an accosting movie. It's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But for those who will like it, you will love it.
All right.
Tarsem Singh's The Cell.
I have seen that one.
Okay.
That was a while ago, but yeah.
It's really, really, it's really, really good. It's sort of like just a regular 90s Catch the Serial Killer movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn are catching the serial killer.
Romantic comedies, Catch the Serial Killers.
It's cute. Yeah. But Tarsem Singh is such a visionary, incredible director. The Fall is not on this list, but you should watch The Fall.
Is The Cell kind of like... it only gets to that really cool visual part like towards the end. Am I remembering this properly?
You're right. It is. That's the problem with The Cell is like the cool Vincent D'Onofrio monster stuff is like 20 minutes of the movie, 30 minutes of the movie, and the rest of it is like a capable, competent crime.
Yeah, I think that's why I was a little thrown by it when I saw it because I was like, oh, this looks really neat in some of the advertising and trailers, and I was like, what am I watching right now? When I got there, I was like, I feel like I was sold something very different.
Right. It's not like Silence of the Lambs where all the Clarice stuff is also great.
And
when Hannibal Lecter shows up, it's fun. Yeah. But that's why
watch the last 20 minutes of The Cell.
Yeah, go to YouTube. You can just go to YouTube for all of this. Mad God. This one just came on the list. This is a new one. This is a Phil Tippett stop motion. I think it's a Shudder exclusive. So get Shudder or steal it. But it's... This is, of all the movies on the list, this is the one that is the most, like, if you think you don't want to see anything violent or gross, or, like, if you have, like, any kind of hesitations, and this is not a challenge, but just do not watch Mad God.
Oh, gosh.
But if you have the heart for it, and if you want to see some really, it is such an incredible movie that it's like, I was talking to Izzy about this, but it's like, it's irrelevant if you like it or not. It is such an impressive spectacle that it defies your opinion, and it's just happening to you while you watch.
Okay.
It's incredible. I've never seen stop motion. I think it's a combination of different kinds of animation, but...
Interesting.
It's incredible. It seems allergic to plot. It seems to be just like a sort of vibey movie with segments of terror that are loosely connected. So, like The Hotel.
Background terror.
Okay. And then the final the final hotel vibe movie is possibly in Michigan.
Also sounds like a romantic comedy.
Kind of.
Yeah. The Lighthouse, possibly in Michigan. They could be sequels.
They're cute. This one you're going to want to go to YouTube for. It's a short film from the 80s or 90s.
Okay.
A lot of you might be familiar with it if you're on TikTok because they use clips from that as a TikTok sound. If anyone has heard the clips of the lady who one time put her dog in a microwave oven, that's not in the movie. That's just a line. I really should have shown you the trailers for this before we started, but now we'll have something fun to do later.
Jesus.
Possibly in Michigan. That one is, artsy fartsy, but it's quite short. And if you like artsy fartsy, and I don't think anyone would be surprised to learn that I do, you're going to have a really good time. And that one's short too. So, also, I meant to say this up top. You don't have to write this down. I'm going to put all of this in the episode description. I'm going to put all of this on the Patreon post. Please, relax, sit back. We're going to take care of you.
Don't even flag any of these timestamps. It's going to be all made very Apparent and easy.
It's going to be great. You're going to have such a good October. You're going to have
this list is very long.
It's not that long. That was the long. That and The Shining part were the longest parts.
I haven't even added my contribution.
We're going to do that after because this next one is going to take us nicely into the Lobby Boy because I do have some Lobby Boy questions.
All right.
So this next one, and this one, shockingly, was one of Lauren's favorite movies when she was a little girl. I don't know what that means about her, but it's Meet Joe Black. Brad Pitt.
Okay, I was gonna say Brad Pitt for some reason. I was like, Meet Joe Black, and obviously I just thought of Jack Black, and then for some reason, like Legends of the Fall came into mind
because Hopkins and Brad Pitt, they're both in that,
and I've seen neither of these.
Good catch.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I was influenced by advertising and trailers.
They're both really great. Legends of the Fall is less hotel-y, but they're both great. Meet Joe Black is a really great movie.
Also, Halloween movies, both of them.
No. Oh. Legends of the Fall is just a sad
epic
drama about life in the whatever.
Don't add that to the list.
Not this list, but like just your general watch list.
Okay, add that to a different list.
Meet Joe Black. It tells the story of Claire Forlani and Brad Pitt having a meet cute. Spoilers, and then he dies immediately. And then he shows back up in Claire Forlani's life because her father, Anthony Hopkins, is a huge billionaire. You're just going to have to be okay with the billionaire being the hero of the movie. And he's about to retire. And then death shows up to take him to die. Death in the form of
Joe Black.
Brad Pitt calls himself, or he gets introduced as Joe Black in the movie.
We say any more, you're not going to have to watch the movie.
It's a very long movie, trust me. Okay. You're going to be fine. This is just the setup.
This is just the first 15 minutes.
And so death in Brad Pitt's body, he killed Brad Pitt to take the body. He wants to experience, it's death takes a holiday. Stop recording, Mark.
Oh, probably a good thing, because you're giving away the entire Joe Black.
No, I swear I'm not. He just wants to experience life as a human for a little bit. So he makes a deal with Anthony Hopkins, like, I'll extend your life for a brief period until your retirement party, I believe it is.
Okay.
And let me pal around with you and, like, eat peanut butter and stuff. And so where it comes into the hoteliness is Death's persona trying to understand being a human. Brad Pitt kind of plays him like this, I don't know, airheaded vampire a little bit. It's this really great vibe. And it's just perfect for hotel staff.
Right.
They don't quite know what it's like to be human, but they have an understanding of it, and they just kind of get it wrong.
I feel very flattered, confused that you suggest that Brad Pitt is lobby boyish.
He is very lobby boyish.
Really?
In this, I think.
Okay, in this.
I mean, not like in 12 Monkeys. Well, maybe 12 Monkeys. But not Johnny Suede. Maybe Johnny Suede. But not Legends of the Fall. But yeah, you guys are both
moving on.
You're both really handsome and fit. Yeah, that. So here's my limit. So let's
ladies and gentlemen, and everyone listening, I am in no way as handsome and fit as Brad Pitt.
The Brad Pitt of podcast. Podcast Brad Pitt.
No, thank you. Don't listen to Travis.
So let me ask you this about the Lobby Boy. And then the performance, because the performance Brad Pitt gives in Meet Joe Black is very boyish and very kind of an innocence, which is what we have in the Lobby Boy. Now, and this is not necessarily spoilers to say, but we have been playing the Lobby Boy and writing the Lobby Boy as Nervous Puppy.
Yes.
And season 4, we've seen the owner trying to, and the hotel a little bit, try to lift him up, try to show him his strength.
Right.
And in a couple of episodes, the bonus episode from this month that also came out today, the hotel listeners, and the ship a little bit, and certainly future episodes moving forward, we're tweaking and turning the Lobby Boy into a little bit more of a confident, self-assured version of himself. Can you talk about like the difference in playing him that way and how you're picking your star to guide your performance by?
Yeah, well, Travis tells me what to do and I do it. So, no, I definitely, like, when I knew that we were kind of moving in this direction, you know, he has a lot of forces that have been pushing against him. So obviously it comes down to what are the circumstantial forces around the lobby boy. He has this as an intrinsic part of his character anyways, to be sort of set upon, a little unsure of himself, a little more isolated, but tons of like longing. Clearly he has a longing for the manager that is, as of yet, in a way, undefined. It seems that one might be able to jump to the conclusion it's like, oh well, he just wants to be with her romantically, friend wise, but that's, I think, where it enters a lot of interesting territory where you don't really know. And I'm not entirely sure that the lobby boy has a clear idea either. It like kind of like a dog chasing after something, right? I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it if I ever were to get it. And even the possibility, the very distant possibility that he would ever get it to begin with, is one of those things that maybe allows him to have that as a windmill to chase. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in a way, there is no. It's not like he has a plan, but that makes the fantasy all the better. And so a lot of these things, and then of course there's the force of the owner that's just kind of working against him, this sort of oppressive thing that is basically a physical manifestation of everything the lobby boy thinks about himself anyways, battering him down. It's like kind of a confirmation of things. It reinforces a lot of how the lobby boy already punishes himself and thinks of himself. Or was that? Oh, you don't like that?
No, that's just sad.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely is sad. I was like, no, did I get off track?
I mean, I'm
fired.
I just mean, because they're my babies too.
Yeah,
like as much as they're a part of the hotel, they're a part of me. So like when the lobby boy is sad, even though I'm the one that said he's sad,
right?
I still go, oh, sorry,
yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, bud.
And then, of course, the hotel, which the hotel is another interesting thing to play as when thinking about it as an actor, because the hotel, in a way, is not the same as the manager or owner or lobby boy. The hotel is something entirely different. It's not exactly human. It's not understandable. And there's part of that I always try to keep in mind, that the hotel is something vast. And so to react to it, obviously the hotel embodies a body and shows up, but it is so much more than that. And so for a while you can kind of like look at that body and sort of get a concept of like, oh, maybe the hotel is this, that, and the other thing. But that's, even logically, that is a fragment of it. And there's still this notion, especially in the lobby boy, that is vast and terrible. So all these things combined, but there are a lot of these, especially when that separation happens at the end and he is like torn away. They're torn away from each other and he finds himself waking up. I think that there's, he's out of his comfort zone. He's out of the supply closet. He's away from things. He is...
You talking about in the bonus episode?
No, I'm talking about in the beginning of season 5.
Okay.
Yeah, when he wakes up and inhabiting the other body.
Thing, yeah.
That's because that's when we started to build upon this sort of resentment and rage taking a toehold. So
but I like almost like he has to... Like when you're like learning to play an instrument and the first thing you do is you play a song you already know and like. Like the lobby boy has to be put into a vessel of self-assuredness and confidence and rage so he can physically feel what that feels like. And then when
try it out. I mean, in a way, he already got to test out some of his capability with the owner as well. So it's kind of like the germ of that started. But now when he's in this sort of... He has a kind of a new level of fear and purpose when he wakes up in this other body, and is separated from who he is. He's separated from the manager, from the owner. I mean, he doesn't really... Yeah, he still carries all those feelings, but no one is in proximity. And the thing shows up when... I was always unclear in that episode, too, and I kind of liked it that way, where I don't know if you intended it, but the way I played it is when he's talking about her, I kind of oscillated in my mind as though it was sometimes the hotel and sometimes the manager. Ooh. That he was not necessarily sure which it was, whether it was an angel that was coming to save him. I say angel without necessarily talking about it in a religious sense.
Yeah.
Or whether it was the manifestation of the hotel. And in a way where he kind of realizes that he has to... that he can take out some of his anger at that moment, at being swept away. He can take it out on the nearest thing to him, which is someone in a comfortable house. He almost goes and just punishes this person with an amount of joy and disdain, because he's kind of striking back at something he can strike back at. Instead of because he can't hit the thing that hurt him,
right?
So he has to hit something close by, and it's not like a good thing, but I think there was a lot of conflict in that, with how he looks at his victim, with how he inhabits this body that is all at once grotesque, but in I think being able to see this new weird monster that you had made him to be, he kind of, in a way, gets to see it as like, when you're in your own body and you look at yourself and you're like, well, I'm not capable of these things, or this is disgusting and weird, or you feel awkward about it. But then when you're in something that this thing is almost infinitely more awkward than the lobby boy is already.
Right.
And I don't know if it's for the comparison's sake, whether he has a sympathy towards it, whether he kind of enjoys the extra monstrous nature of it. I played a lot with like those ideas in going forward. And then you still have to have something to react against. So it's not just that confidence comes out of nowhere. Confidence, for me, at least in how I played the lobby boy, is a response to other things in the environment. So, so the confidence would be a response to, rejecting the constant self-loathing, and finding moments where he rejects that, and maybe that's a moment where he sees it in the groveling of the person who's getting away, and he sees himself in that, and he rejects that. He wants to snuff it out in a way,
which brings him, whether he realizes it or not, one step closer to alignment with the owner. Which that's what the owner's anger at the lobby boy is, seeing that same powerlessness in the lobby boy that he knows he has himself, because of the futility of life. So when the lobby boy, as a monster, sees a groveling, whimpering person and wants to destroy it, boom.
Yeah.
God, we're so good at this.
Yeah, no, I think we're doing well.
That was great.
But yeah, it's a lot of those things. So when you're talking about where does the confidence come from? It is, even though he is isolated, he is reacting. A lot of things is like a conversation with himself, and I'm sure the other characters, we all have our conversations with ourselves. But the lobby boy especially is battling with himself a lot. Mm-hmm. He is. There's so much conflict within him, and when there's not necessarily an outside character to strive against, like an owner to butt heads with, a manager to chase after, a hotel to be ordered around by, there are these other things within himself that he is pivoting around and confronting.
It's so interesting that you say that, because that's one of the reasons that we did go back to the season 2, Scare B&B style of episodes for this clutch of episodes. The original idea of doing that was well, we did that in season 2. We'd better do it again just to address it. It's called The Hotel. And there's a whole season where there are no hotels and we're just doing this weird thing. So let's put it in. And try to give it a little bit of context. I don't want to explain things too much, because we're just here to have a good time. But I did want to touch on it again. But that is the angle that I took in writing it, was we've got the lobby boy trying to build himself up, and we need the owner to stop being what he's being, so that we can all fall in line behind the manager and do the work. and getting them to a place where that came to a head, and then having Madame Hotel show up, and everyone needs to like get their act together to deal with her. Getting the pieces together so that they feel comfortable doing that, and then immediately separate them. Kind of like testing them, like, okay, great. Now you have to do this all on your own, and I'm not even going to let you have your entire identity. They have more of it than they did in season 2, but they're all sort of like vaguely aware that they're supposed to be something and somewhere else, that there are other things like them that they're supposed to be near and doing, but they're not quite sure. Kind of like that final, like, all right, go, prove that you can do this, you know, sharpen your sword not just on a whetstone, but in battle. And then, of course, when we come...
Interesting. Yeah. That's like kind of... I wonder, in a way, if the lobby boy necessarily... and I actually don't think... personally, I don't think this, that he even understands that that's what's happening.
No.
That's the hotel's intent. I think that the hotel is just, 18 steps ahead of everybody, and that the lobby boy is just, of course he's going to react that way. Of course the hotel is going to react to this circumstance that she has thrown us into. I was also going to touch on the episode, because you mentioned the bonus episode, which you should link that that Dr. Manhattan thing.
Oh, the music?
That music. I listened to that music the entire time I was recording it, except for the middle portion. I think the ponderous sort of choral, it almost feels a little like being in like a vast Dalian cathedral or something.
Oh, you know what's interesting about that? And you don't know this yet, but people listening do. The art for this episode, I've already got it. I'll show you. It looks like stained glass.
No,
our artist, the piece that they did, it looks very much like a stained glass piece. It's actually one of Lauren's very favorite pieces. So it's so interesting because they had no idea, the artist, that I was listening to that Philip Glass piece from Watchmen while I was writing. Or I might have said that there was like a religious ecstasy. Oh no, that was for something else. I didn't even mention anything to that effect, but it was just something that they picked up on and listening to the episode, and they put it together. Absolutely,
it was really interesting, just kind of going through that one where there's a lot of after having gone through the very like that very brutal sort of like almost borderline sadistic episode of him being the monster, for him to kind of like slow down and deal with the idea of him being alone, that he doesn't have these other pillars to rely on, and how to deal with himself, because without having these other things to work off against, all that's left is him.
Right.
And how does he reconcile with that? And I think at least in this moment he grabs a hold of something. He tries. He tries to make a go of it, and come to terms with like who he is. And how far have we listened by the time this is out? Not to the thing. Okay. Not to the
all right. Like Rissa has shown.
We'll talk about that later.
But none of the. That's what I'm.
Sorry, we got really derailed.
That's great. No, that's what they're here for. They don't want to.
I would like to. We should go back, because I want to like kind of go back through those things. There was just really interesting stuff in the whole process. As I said, I think before, in the lobby boy thing, it's always like feeling your way through thoughts. I feel like when voicing him, more than when voicing almost any other character, I feel like I am in like thought jello, and I am forcing my way through things, and like I find a wall in front of me, and so I like thought jello my way around and find my way around the corner.
That is so interesting that you say that. I was talking when we did the last episode with Krista, she and I were talking after, and I don't think I said this in the episode because it sounds like something a pretentious writer would say, but here we are. But it when I write the episodes, a lot of the time when I come back to it to do the reread the next day or to edit it or whatever, it feels very much like that. It feels like I was in a thought jello or a trance. It feels like someone else wrote it. And when I come back to it, I'm always like, oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
What a neat episode.
What a neat thing that we just did.
I will frequently, when I'm thinking about future episodes, even though I told you, like, you know, we've got all of the October episodes done. I've told you what we're doing for the rest of the year and what we're doing next year. When I say that to you, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what what's going to happen in that episode. I don't, there's always an element when I start writing of like, fuck, I hope I pull this off. And then I feel like I usually do. But but you know, it does feel like I'm kind of like plugging into the Matrix and I'm like, okay, let's see if the thing the Jello that's there will give me the story.
Yeah. That's what's great. I mean, it's also like, to follow the Jello metaphor, if anyone's like, why Jello? And I'm like, well, it's kind of translucent, but things are foggy, so I don't know what I'm working. Yeah, you can move through it, and sometimes there's just like a lot of glop that you have to get out of the way. Sometimes you can make a nice clean incision and see a little more clearly. You are having to like kind of... the way in which you move through things is very tactile. There is a lot around you. Again, this is probably vague as shit and sounds pretentious, but...
It's also because...
sorry, were we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I might even stop bleeping it out. I don't know. We're all learning, Mark.
Yeah, we're all learning.
We're all learning.
Oh boy, we're like...
We're halfway through.
We're two through, and this is going to be another 3-hour... marathon.
I think they like that though, and I like hanging out with you.
Yeah,
we're both so busy. We really just get to hang out when we're doing hotel stuff. This next one is 3 movies, so huzzah, and it is just to take it back a little bit. I came at you pretty hot with like Silent Hill and Meet Joe Black and stuff, just to take it back a little bit because we are a fun show, Mark. The Hotel Transylvania trilogy. No offense, Hotel Transylvania 4, but the trilogy 1 through 3. Absolutely. Something you should watch if you like the hotel. Now, I will say, Mark's making a face, and that's an accurate face. Hotel Transylvania, you say, but I remember those trailers. Isn't that just kind of like Minions-y, sort of like if you have kids or family, like maybe you'll go see? And here's the answer. Yes. The scripts are okay. They're perfectly fine. They are what you think they are. However, I should have looked up how to pronounce his name. It's Gennady Tartakovsky? No way I got that right.
Nope.
But you know his work. He's Primal is the show that he's got on right now. Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, Dexter's Lab, the original Clone Wars, Star Wars shorts, not the CG ones. That's all him. He is an incredible visual director, and the visual comedy, the visual poses, the moments that they put into Hotel Transylvania feel very hotel-y to me. Definitely something that I feel like that is in a not as like bombastic way, something that, you know, I try to strive for, but, you know, audioly. Because I can't do anything visually in a podcast.
Audioly.
And also, of course, it's a hotel where monsters work.
There you go.
So I'm not hurting myself trying to connect those dots.
No. I think you can. I auditioned for... some of the voice matches on. I think voice matches and scratch tracks on that.
For who?
I'm
trying to think
who's the young guy who's. I can't remember. This is. I'd have to go looking back.
Is it Sandberg?
Yes.
You couldn't remember Andy Samberg's name?
Listen,
buddy.
Yes, I can,
buddy,
and it's fantastic. I just like misnames sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was Sandberg.
Boom. Short. I think we talked for an hour about Meet Joe Black. Hotel Transylvania is like, listen,
1 through 3, do it.
Just do it. It's a good. It's a good time. I am telling you though that like, it is going to be like kind of like the script is very like, they fall in love and it's a thing, and then the Adam Sandler dad is like, I don't like this, and then they whatever.
So you're talking about like turn off the sound and just watch the visual.
No, you're gonna need the sound.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying like whatever mode you need to get into, because I'm a cartoon guy. I'll watch animation. I don't care. I'm having a good time. But there are people, Mario, who have a harder time just getting into animation, and they need an extra carrot. I'm saying that carrot is the animation itself. I just want you. I want to calibrate your expectations. That's all. Not that it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I recommend a movie and people go, "Oh wow, is it really that good?" And I get to say like, "Yeah, people don't know this."
You're recommending about like 32 movies here.
I just like
out of a list of 10.
I like to hear myself talk. Now, this next movie recommendation. This is 2 movies, and I want you. Speaking of calibrating,
this is terrible
expectations. This is a great list. This will go down in history as one of the all-time Halloween lists. I want you all to open your hearts to what Halloween can mean and what a Halloween movie could be, okay? Because we all remember Halloween when we were kids and it felt different.
Are you starting up like a 501c for Halloween? Like, are you trying to get...
What's a 501c?
Isn't that... I don't know. It's like a charitable organization.
Oh, yeah. Just Venmo me. It goes to Halloween charity.
You seem to be championing Halloween as the concept.
Yeah,
as a broader concept than what we believe in Halloween.
Just feel like Halloween has not waned necessarily, but I've moved around a lot in my life, so this could all be regional stuff as well as temporally regional. But I feel like you see less Halloween stuff out on the street. Of course, this has economic reasons where not all of us can afford to have Halloween decorations stored all year round,
We didn't even see in Ace, our hardware store, we didn't even see, like, there's not much of a Halloween section. It's just like end caps now.
Yeah, see,
they put some like cool looking witches in the middle of the garden.
This is what I'm talking about. Halloween decorations, the quality has gone downhill a little bit just because, like, the quality of everything, like, things are getting cheaper as capitalism swallows us. And also because, like, we're not all just watching, Fox or NBC where all of the commercials are Halloween. We're all doing our own thing. So it's just harder to see the, like, texture and flavor and spice of Halloween everywhere.
Sorry, a 501c is just a nonprofit. I feel like I'm very off my game right now.
I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. Normally when you recommend tax break stuff, you're on top of it more.
No, you know what? It's just I want to just chalk it up to the day, and maybe the coffee is just taking a bit of extra time to kick in.
But he's going to be on as soon as we're done recording.
Check your sources. Kick in. Check your sources, everybody.
So these two movies, they might not initially feel like a Halloween movie to you, but if we can watch Over the Garden Wall in October, surely we can watch my following two movies, The Wizard of Oz and Spirited Away.
I thought you were going to say Return to Oz. It just says Oz on there.
It does just say Oz because who has the time? I am not going to say...
Because Return to Oz is a spookier movie.
It is, but it is also, all due respect, a vastly boring movie. Return to Oz has some of the best special effects I've ever seen in the 80s.
I feel like you'd be riveted.
It is. I was riveted. It is. You literally have to go to, like, The Empire Strikes Back to find the level of special effect wizardry in another movie.
And
it is so boring. It is so boring. It's a movie set in Kansas. So how could you make that more boring? Set it in England.
What?
Kansas, they filmed it in England, so they open the movie and, like, here's Kansas. It's clearly England, and if anything is more boring than Kansas, it's the English countryside. Sorry, Kent.
Wait a minute. Kent. Hold on. What? No. I respectfully disagree.
About England being boring?
Yeah, about England being more boring than Kansas.
No, nothing's more boring.
Do you have Stonehenge in Kansas?
No.
There you go.
Well, we don't. We just have the Sedgwick County Zoo, which we are looking for sponsorship from a zoo. So Sedgwick County, if you're listening. No, I just like teasing.
We are from a zoo?
Yeah.
Do we have new... Is that the new stuff to come?
Honestly,
Hotel might be set in a zoo.
Oh, you know what? I actually wanted to do a bonus episode. I was thinking of a bonus episode for next month for the manager, and I thought of doing the zoo episode.
Oh, yeah, the zoo would be good.
I don't want to do anything mean to animals.
No. It could just be like the Cryptidae, Cryptidae?
Yeah. No, that's smart. Oh, that's really good. All right, maybe we'll do that. Yeah. Probably not. Oh, so Oz and Spirited Away. But Travis, not only are those not scary, and you haven't talked about either of them yet, but
we talked about Oz.
They're not even, not the Wizard of Oz.
Okay. They're
not even hotel. What are we doing? What dots are you connecting?
We're not. Well, technically, Spirited Away is a hotel. It's yeah.
So these are both, I think, very personal movies. For both of us.
Did I check my sources again?
We're both big Spirit. Can't even edit it together.
Don't listen to anything I've said this episode, please.
They're here for me.
Okay.
They're both very personal movies to us. We both love Spirited Away.
Yes.
I love Wizard of Oz. Do you like Wizard of Oz?
I like Wizard of Oz.
He likes Wizard of Oz. I grew up...
I love Wizard of Oz.
I grew up in Kansas.
Okay.
in the 90s.
It's like you're required to watch it.
Right. So Wichita, Kansas in the 90s, that was the 50th anniversary of Wizard of Oz. So it was huge everywhere. And it was super huge in Wichita. And I was a child. And I had just seen Wizard of Oz for the first time.
Can't spell Wichita without witch.
That's true. That's what it says on the sign when you drive in.
So, Halloween's Wizard of Oz, Wichita.
Season of the Witch. There we go. Oh, there's a Wicked Witch in it. I'm such an idiot.
Oh, there is a witch.
Oh, my God. Jeez. Okay. But
fast forward.
The reason these two movies are on the list is because of their magical nature. You take a normal person, you take Dorothy, you take wait, which one's her real name? Jen?
Judy Garland?
No, in Spirited Away.
Oh, Sen.
I'm a big fan, I swear. They both are transported to somewhere vibrant and colorful and dangerous, and the inhabitants don't necessarily mean them harm, but some of them do, and they kind of do, and they both get to leave. None of our guests get to leave. But whenever I am thinking of the show cinematically, I am thinking of things like the Wicked Witch's big red sand hourglass. I am thinking of the bathhouse and all. It's like it's many doors opening, and it's just jam packed. As all Ghibli movies are, jam packed with clutter and color and stuff and everything. And it's not, things are not fully explained, and I with Spirited Away, I don't know how much of that is just like my cultural misunderstanding of things, but there's a lot of things that just show up in Spirited Away that nobody explains beyond just like, this is just how we do it.
That's probably just a lot of it's probably
it's a lot of like, hold your breath when you cross the bridge so you'll stay invisible, and I'm like, that's fine, and then she doesn't, and the frog sees her and it freaks out, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but it makes sense in a certain way.
I do like that moment.
You're watching The Wizard of Oz, and she's like, "Oh, I'll get them. I know what I'll do. I'll send my flying monkeys dressed as bellhops on them." And they don't explain it. They just have bellhop monkeys.
Yeah.
And it's like really, they both also have genuinely, I think, frightening moments. The tornado. I mean, I was from Kansas, but the tornado, I think, is really scary. Those flying monkeys are really scary. The forest is really scary. Haku is really scary. You're never quite sure in Spirited Away.
He's a sweet boy.
He is, but there are lots of moments where you don't know whose side
he's getting insulin.
Anyone is on. Oh, right. And Mark's cat, Haku.
Haku.
So it's a very personal movie. Or both of these movies are personal to both of us in very different ways, and of course, we make up so much of what the hotel is. How could it not be in there?
So they're getting in on the Halloween episode,
getting in on a technicality, but also they do. Those are very hotel movies to me, and one of the reasons that I feel like I connected so much with Izzy is that he seems to understand the hotel. Not like better than other people. I don't want to. It's not a contest, but he understands it, and he looks at it the same way that I do.
Yeah, because you're vibing together. Yeah,
on his playlist, that big 9-hour playlist that he made forever ago that I would listen to a lot. I noticed he put Wizard of Oz music on that, which is why I have Wizard of Oz music on mine.
And when we got together with him, it's like you two just like kind of took off on tangents, and it seems like you kind of had an experience of the same media. Which again, it's not a contest. It's just like that. Some people, it's like when you're kind of swirling in a similar creative space.
Yeah, we really just bounce off of each other very, very well. And that's also why Dorothy Rennup's name is Dorothy. I was listening to his playlist while I was writing that episode, and so Dorothy.
And
also, why that guy has red shoes? I forget.
Oh yeah. The ones that one of my favorite pieces of art.
When
I believe it's the one that Izzy did. I don't want to. I'm pretty sure it has to be, and I think it's when the lobby boy's looking, and he's just like, "What the fuck are those?" And it just like sweating as he sees the red shoes, and I kind of like the sort of like quasi questionably fetish nature of like looking at these shoes and just being insanely connected to them. Another thing I love about the lobby boy is that just like the tiny little weird details that he just loves.
He really, and there's those things. A lot of the fans have assigned, if that's the right word, autism to the lobby boy and to the manager in some cases, because I will write in things like his love of the sensory. He likes soft things. He likes shiny things. The manager does not like too much noise and chaos. Things like that. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's I mean, he definitely has that fixation to it. That's a really interesting thought. Thanks, everybody. And also, if you don't like the Wizard of Oz Spirited Away thing, don't worry. There are like 12 other movies you can slot into the the number 4 slot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Also, if you don't like the Wizard of Oz Spirited Away thing, that is not okay. Despite what Mark just said.
I meant in the Halloween list.
Yeah, I know what you meant. And I'm just saying it's not okay in any sense.
You did just lay your heart out on the line.
You don't have to love them, but you can't dismiss both of these movies.
No.
How dare you?
I was saying, never mind. Moving on.
Okay, so this next movie is another trilogy, Mark. Because I like
one that I've not seen.
I like to keep things. We just watched these for the first time like 2 weeks ago. It's Hellraiser 1 through 3. I know there's a bunch of them, and there's a new one coming out on Hulu. We only watched the first 3 so far.
I was always flummoxed as to why they were not just called Pinhead.
He's not even called Pinhead in that first movie.
He's not?
He's not called... That's something the fans called him that they then adopted, because in the book he's called something else. I don't know.
Shows how much I kept that movie at arm's distance when I was a kid.
I mean, like, that's one of the reasons I haven't seen it until recently, is I was not a horror kid growing up. They scared the hell out of me. I wouldn't even go through the horror section of the video store, because the covers scared.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. They got in. But the Hellraiser movies are surprisingly... I don't want to say surprisingly good. That sounds mean. But they're surprisingly... I don't know. They shook me. They got into me. They're doing things that you don't quite expect. They are also doing things you do quite expect.
Okay.
There's a lot... Like, whatever you think the Hellraiser movies are, to a degree, you're right. They are going to do the things that you expect.
Not sure I have a good, clear idea of what the Hellraiser movies are.
That is also correct. They're interesting movies. They're not quite in the straight line you think they are. They play more like Tales from the Crypt episodes. At least the first one does. Starring Star Trek's Andrew Robinson.
Yeah. In what I got from the whole experience of like knowing almost nothing about it except for the one guy with the pins is that I was like, this just seems like slightly different Freddy Krueger. Right, that's kind of like from growing up. I was like, okay, I saw the dude. I was like, that's your main monster guy. I'm sure he's doing something similar and tormenting people. Maybe not through dreams, but maybe in some other way. So that's kind of how I like logged Hellraiser in my brain. But I don't know. Maybe it's something much more than that.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're not completely wrong. Like, you get the Hellraiser box, and then you Rubik's Cube it in some capacity, and then the Cenobites, as they're called.
Wait, there are multiples of them that have pins in their faces?
No, he's the only one who has pins in his faces, but there's like a chatterbox guy with scary mouth. There's like, I think there's one that's just called The Woman. I think
so they all have like an accessory? It's like a whole team?
They have like, it's like a team.
Oh.
They all have like,
superheroes.
Leather daddy kind of gimmicks. And then, but they really just show up and they just kind of like in the hotel, they're like, oh, even in hell, your pain will be legendary. We're really going to mess you up. Oh boy. And then that you just,
I didn't know that was what the performance was like.
That's a perfect impression.
Oh boy.
That's a perfect impression.
It's coming for you.
In head. But then they just kind of like generally mess you. There's not a lot of getting away from them.
Okay.
They just kind of show up and mess you up. I say that, but then also sometimes you do get away. Like with the hotel, the rules seem to be sort of like whatever is scariest in the moment.
Right. But then I assume that they then... this thing's going to be full in no time.
No, don't say things like that. There we go.
I assume that you then, after you get messed up, you go to hell and then get messed up some more?
Yeah, you go to hell. And what's weird about it is it's not even, they're not just like, we just want to mess you up. They keep talking about how they're exploring the farthest reaches of pleasure and pain. And they're just like doing whatever they can with the human body.
So it could be okay?
Well, they don't really show you a lot of the pleasure part.
Right,
it seems to be mostly bloody stuff, but they like it. I don't know. I don't care to know.
Right, yeah, I guess.
I'm okay
They're raising hell.
Oh, boy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're suggesting that we do watch these?
I think you should. I think if you like the hotel, you'll find a very similar flavor. A lot of people have...
There are a lot of flavors in here.
That's how I live.
Okay.
Flavor-wise. Because the plot is whatever.
It's like a couple Neapolitans just smacked together in a grand Neapolitan of creative content.
It's a pastiche.
Pastiche. Neapolitan was probably not a good go-to analogy.
It's limiting. It's only 3 flavors.
That's true.
It's a buffet.
Right.
I'm a buffet. I'm a buffet of horror.
A buffet of Neapolitans.
But a lot of fans have an interesting headcanon that the staff were guests, or at least normal humans at one point, that the hotel has taken and changed into these creatures.
Interesting. Okay, yes. Yeah.
And that's what the Hellraiser movies are. The Cenobites were normal people who I think, anyway. I've only watched 3, but that does, spoilers, happen in the second one.
How many are there?
Bro, there's a lot.
Really?
Because I believe that they keep making them because, you know, the old thing of, like, if you have the rights to a property but you don't make the movie, you loot the rights, revert back to whomever. Oh. So there's a handful of these movies that got made just to keep the rights.
I never knew that's why we had so many sequels floating around. That's because people are just like, I can't let this go.
That's one reason why we have so many Spider-Man and Fantastic Four movies.
What?
You got to keep them rights.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And here I thought they were just kind of like digging into the nostalgia pockets.
It's also that. There's not that. There's a lot of things happening. But sometimes things will get made just because it's like, crap.
You learn something every day. 501c. You can't cut it now. It's a callback.
This one, maybe, do you know about this one? Is this
I've seen a few episodes. Okay, so I haven't seen the whole thing. I feel actually very very responsible that I haven't, or very irresponsible that I have not watched this. We are going to butt heads on. Extremely.
Right, of course. Right, we always butt heads on this stuff. So here's 2 more. What are we at? 6, 2 TV shows. Short TV shows. 1, Gravity Falls. It's amazing. Yeah. Only 3 seasons.
Fantastic.
Really, the big hotel of it all for that one is the main antagonist is a character called Bill Cipher, who is basically just like a little chaos demon. And that is something that I based the hotel's personality on. Mostly Krista. But when I was telling Pacific about adding her to the cast in a regular capacity for season 4, I said I'm going to write her like Bill Cipher. Just giggly and fun and an absolute nightmare to her.
He has one of the greatest outro lines. I can't really remember it because he says it so fast.
Oh, sounds great.
But it's the one where he's like, nothing's real, everything is possible, and he just kind of, that was one of the inspirations for for Zach Tungsten.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I know the Zach Tungsten line.
The Zach Tungsten line is catch on the fluid pace. Yeah, that one where he goes away. That was definitely pulled from a Bill Cipher like piecing out in one of the episodes.
So it even works for Theater of Tomorrow.
There you go.
And the other show is WandaVision, obviously because it's about a lady who's making her own reality and forcing everyone to yada yada yada, and there's all these different iterations of it and stuff. Mark, do you want to just?
I don't know if I should.
Do you want to?
I'm not a huge fan.
No.
Of it. We watched an episode. I also like Kelly and I both are very big like Dick Van Dyke fans. Kelly is a huge Dick Van Dyke fan.
Yeah.
She has like multiple episodes memorized. She's seen everyone multiple times. And I think right from jump, their recreation, this is going to be an unpopular thing because everyone loved WandaVision, but it was not our cup of tea. Let us just say.
Yeah.
And not only that, I also kind of have my own little grating gripes with the MCU at this point where
it's because Paul Bettany keyed your car, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I just can't let it go. No, I think when I saw the trailer for WandaVision, I was like, oh, okay, I gotta go watch 25 movies before I can actually enjoy WandaVision. And I don't know, it was just, Kelly actually called out, she called out Agatha from the trailer.
Mm.
She was like, she watched the trailer before the show was even out, she was like, oh yeah, she's the villain. Spoilers. And sure enough, it happened, and everyone was like, "I can't believe it!" And Kelly was like, "She's literally in a witch costume, cackling in the trailer. Like it couldn't be more in your face.
Yeah,
that this is exact thing that's happening. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I think there are many more movies on here that you should put as top priorities. But if you are in the MCU, I hear that folks who have a vast knowledge of it really dig it, and I'm sure it has its own good qualities for folks. Just not our cup of tea. And when the cameras and mics are not rolling, we can get into more nuts and bolts.
So Lauren and I liked it. We're Marvel people, sure. I would put that one on the list for you. If you think you might already like it, go ahead and watch it if you haven't. There's hotel reasons to like it. If you're like Mark and Kelly and you're like, I'm not really big on the Marvel, and you saw the trailer or whatever, and you think like, I don't know if I'd like that so much. Yeah. Sounds like maybe you won't.
But what you're saying from the broader concept of what it brings to the table.
Yeah.
I definitely can see the idea of like that concept in and of itself is cool. I just personally didn't really dig the Marvel execution of said concept.
And that's not an uncommon opinion. I don't think you're as alone in that as you think. I mean, it's huge. It's one of the biggest, Marvel is massive. There's no shortage of it.
It's just the most popular thing out there. But no, that's fine. Keep your opinions.
But no, there are, I was texting Cool Paul last night about Marvel gripes. So,
I got Star Wars gripes too, if we want to get into it.
There is no Star Wars
It's not on here?
There's not.
There should be.
Oh, you know what's not on the list, but is going to be? I'm going to add it onto the list. Of course. Let's just do that now. Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Oh.
Obviously, we're going to have Star Trek.
I must say, one thing that did scare me was Star Trek 6.
6?
Wait. 5 or 6? What's 5?
5 is the Final Frontier. That's 4.
Wales is 4. What's 5?
That's the Final Frontier. That's the one with God.
Okay, what's 6?
Tell me what scared you, and I'll tell you what movie it's in.
I don't know. They were in it was like the villain of 6. They were in some arena too and fighting to like the death or something. I don't know.
What was the villain? Who was he fighting?
I can't remember.
What
I remember
you?
I was an impressionable child, Travis. And now I feel very exposed. Like I need to check.
The villain in Star Trek 6 is Christopher Plummer.
Hang on.
Spoilers for Star Trek 6, I guess.
Never mind.
You look that up. I'm going to do the Star Trek list.
Yeah, you know what? Wait, you have a whole list?
Well, I mean, no, it's a short list. Just let's find out together how many things are on this list.
How long are you intending this episode to be?
I guess as long as the camera will keep recording. We'll see. So, speaking of hotel and Madame Hotel inspirations, Mark has just Googled Star Trek 6. That's not going to help you.
The Undiscovered.
That's not going to help you.
Well, how do you know it's not going to?
Well, that's my favorite Star Trek movie, so I don't know what scary thing is in there. There's no arena fight. Oh, there is an arena fight with a big alien?
Maybe.
The blue face?
Maybe.
Captain Kirk's wearing...
Something about it scared me. This is this story is not getting as much mileage as I hoped.
Yeah, me not.
I had a knee-jerk reaction, and it didn't work out.
I'll tweet out the clip if Mark discovers it, so just tune in. For the Star Trek Hotel Halloween list begins with the movie Star Trek First Contact. Now, this is a whole Star Trek movie, so if this is not your cup of tea, I don't necessarily want to send you off into a 90-minute science fiction picture. However, Alice Krige, there she is again from Silent Hill, plays the Borg Queen. And you could even, if you wanted, just like look for YouTube clips of Alice Krige in First Contact. And I think you'll very quickly see what the inspiration is for the hotel and her creepiness. And I've actually sent clips of the Borg Queen to Krista before for Dust Runner. For her character, Queen Krastic. You're just on the Wikipedia for that movie?
Listen, you know what? It's not...
That's not going to help. And then there's a couple of episodes, if you're curious about Star Trek and you like the hotel, but you don't want to do a whole movie, there's an episode in, I think it's the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation called The Royale, where the Enterprise comes upon like a cosmic hotel that is trapped a man inside and won't let him leave. And then some of the crew members get trapped inside and they're in this like scary nightmare hotel, which is really almost the exact plot of The Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I will warn you, though, that this episode of Star Trek The Next Generation is not great. If you want to watch a pretty good episode of Next Generation that is scary and like The Hotel, watch Where Silence Has Lease, which is actually, I worked that line into an episode of The Hotel. I don't remember which one. And that sees Nagilum, Star Trek name. It's fine. A cosmic entity killing members of the Enterprise out of curiosity to learn more about them. Again, very hotel-y. And of course, if you're listening to this, you probably already know the original series is Charlie X. While not overly hotel-y, is definitely a scary Twilight Zone type episode, and that's also where I get the owner's "I want to stay" refrain, which I picked up again at the end of season 4, where he says, "I want to stay together." It's
you know what? I really think that this might have been one of those.
Was it Kirk fighting a monster?
It might have been, but it also may have been just the crippling pressure of them being tried for a crime that they did not commit and sentenced to like a horrible thing.
That Klingon trial was pretty intense. If you saw it when you were a kid, I could see that like freaking you out.
It kind of has a oh god, what's that thing about like oh god. Yeah. What you know that the thing where it's like the witch trials,
sure.
The Salem witch trials.
Yeah, I know that.
And they kind of falsely accuse someone and burn them down. What's the name of that?
A witch hunt.
No. The
Crucible.
The Crucible. Yeah, it's kind of like it has a Crucible vibe to it. Right. This is.
Look, if you want to just talk about Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, I can and have done that for hours. I will. That is my favorite Star Trek movie.
Right, no.
I can make it about the hotel.
As I'm digging into my past, it turns out that I was just a trepidatious and easily spooked child.
Wow. And now you're a trepidatious and easily spooked adult.
You don't think I've grown like a little bit?
Well, I don't know how scared you were as a child.
Well,
you don't seem that scared now. You're trepidatious.
Okay.
I'll give you that. Maybe not easily spooked.
I think I'm caffeinated at this point.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next one. 1979's House. This is a Japanese one. Also called Hasu. I don't know if I got that pronunciation right. But it is... I think it's on HBO or something. But fuck HBO, am I right?
I guess.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Trust me. I will talk later. Trust me. But House, it sees the group of young girls leaving school for the summer to go hang out at their friend's grandmother's house for like summer fun. And each of the girls has their own like, thing, their own personality. There's like the athletic one, and then the funny one, and then the pretty one.
Right.
And they all go, and then it turns out the house is like alive and scary and haunted, and the grandmother's getting like weirdly younger, and the girls start disappearing.
Wow. She's eating them?
She's getting there. Yeah, I think so. The piano eats one of them.
Oh.
It's kind of scary. It's, it's 1970s, so it's not gonna it's not necessarily bone crunching scary. It's
some of that stuff, like some of the the older stuff, the 70s stuff or practical effects stuff scans way scarier than you think it might.
But this isn't like Texas Chainsaw scary. Because it's also kind of I hesitate to call it a comedy. But it's not a comedy. There's some goofy characters and moments that are clearly meant to just be funny. But it is truly a distinct film. It is scary and weird and funny and visually very stunning. And I can't recommend it enough. Check out the trailer if you want to see, because there's a lot of stuff with a cat with sparkly eyes, and there's this great sequence where the piano starts playing, and then someone's fingers get chopped off, and the fingers start jumping up and down and playing it.
Oh my god.
It's really, really wild. A girl's head gets chopped off and falls into a well, and then it comes out of the well and tries to bite people.
All right.
And it's really, really intense.
Don't give away too much.
I got 18 movies on this list.
Yeah, it's true.
Something. I also don't want to just say the name of a movie and go all right, Google it.
Go see
House.
Yeah.
I want to give them a little bit of something.
Right. So for the 21st film that we have on this list.
This is another 2 TV shows. I just want to give people a lot of options. You can just load up your plate with whatever you want. One of them is Tales from the Crypt. I don't know where you're going to watch the show. YouTube, probably. Most of it's on YouTube.
Okay.
And it's not hotel-y necessarily. But the vibe I strive for.
Yes.
You've heard me mention Tales from the Crypt
absolutely.
Many times. The balance that show strikes between genuinely scary scared the hell out of me as a kid. I would get terrified if I accidentally clicked over and I saw that Crypt Keeper's awful little face.
But also whimsical.
But whimsical and fun and great and colorful and straightforward. You know, there's not like a lot of build up or B plots or anything. It's just we're just going forward to the scary, and it's got all of these terrific guest stars.
All right.
Watch it. Now, Creepshow, the new Creepshow series that is on Shudder. I only mentioned this, and I mentioned this to Izzy when we were hanging out. Season 2, episode 4, Pipe Screams and Within the Walls, because there's 2 episodes per.
Okay.
This is the one I sent you and Kelly last year.
Yeah.
Both of these episodes are so hotel-y. Pipe Screams deals with a monster living in the pipes of a rundown tenement building. And then a plumber comes to fix it, and he like gets attacked by the thing, and then the landlord gets eaten. So, boom, spoilers. Sorry. What are you gonna do? What do you want? It's great though. It's really colorful. It's really, you know, again that hotel vibe I'm going for, bright colors, and they're okay with spoilers,
I guess.
I mean, they're gonna have to. I mean, look, honestly, I'm not spoiling the end of like, you know, a great movie. I'm spoiling the end of one of the Creepshow.
Yeah, but the one you're saying to go watch.
Oh, they're not gonna watch this one. Not with
who knows?
Not with all of the Hellraisers they need to be watching. And then Within the Walls, starring Star Trek's Denise Crosby, is about cosmic horror.
Okay.
Which is we deal in cosmic horror, although weirdly I try to leave the cosmic horror on the table as much as possible.
Okay.
Because there's not, I don't think, as much to explore. I feel like that's the punchline. Once you get to, oh, it's a cosmic being that we have no agency over, isn't the very next moment the end?
Yeah, like whatever. No, not necessarily.
What, are you going to punch it?
I don't think so.
No, it's just going to twist you inside out and make you insane.
No. I think that there is exactly that. There's the tripping down the well into insanity. There's the whole idea of like, that couldn't possibly be the thing. Oh, but it is. Oh, but now I have to live with it. Is there any point living with a thing that is kind of unknowable and that our lives are useless? Is that vastly depressing? Is it galvanizing? There's so many things that spill out from that. It's kind of why I like we're watching a show right now that we're watching The Boys.
Okay.
And I think it's one of the one of the sickest, craziest characters in that show is Homelander, but also like I like how they treat the superheroes so far in it, in that they are kind of godlike, and I kind of hope it. I don't know for anything where the show all is going, but I like this idea that there is just this thing around there and we can't really do anything about it, and we're just hoping it doesn't explode near us.
You mean you're talking about Homelander?
Yeah.
If Superman decides he's going to kill everybody, that's just what's going to happen, basically. And
technically every one of them. And in a way, like, I mean... in a way, it's kind of less cosmic horror because Homelander still and many of the superheroes still have a level of humanity within them, but some of them grapple with it. They tend closer towards the idea of like, I'm no longer human. I am a god, and so it is different how I think about how I move through the world. And that, I think, is like one of the evolutionary in-betweens to the cosmic horror thing, where, the true, like, crazy Azathoth, sorry, I do like Lovecraft, but like some of that stuff where it is like, that's just a mass of stars swirling around that kind of like doesn't, this weird demon sultan that just kind of trundles into things. But I guess I like the fact of like how the humans are trying to deal with that.
That's what I wanted to ask you as someone who knows more about cosmic horror than me. Are there examples of, because what's interesting about The Hotel, if I'm allowed to say that about something I make, is that the cosmic horror is not dealing with a human. We're not watching, except for like Robert Watson, we're not really seeing a human deal with that cosmic horror. The other lesser cosmic horror beings are dealing with the cosmic horror. So it's not like the owner's going to see, the mouth of the madness and like go insane and da-da-da-da. He's going to look at the mouth of the madness and go like, oh yeah, me too. But she's kind of mean to me. Are there any examples of that in literature?
Watch out, Grammar. Travis is coming for your job. Other examples in that where they're like, yeah.
Where the horror is afraid of another horror, and that's the story we're following, rather than like...
I suppose
Peter found a weird journal.
I don't know of anything offhand. That's an interesting concept, though, and I think from the standpoint of like that, where you mean like the staff with the hotel, and even the hotel in a way is probably more communicative than some of the crazy unknowable horrors that like kind of Lovecraft sort of got
I don't know if anyone in
head around.
I haven't really looked into too much cosmic horror, but I don't know if any of them call anybody else babe.
Yeah, probably not.
The hotel does a lot though.
But at the same time, that's what I think is interesting about the whole cosmic horror thing, because
card full.
Yeah, well, that's all the video you get.
If you're watching on video, that's it. I guess I'll put a picture of something.
This is like what are we in our second hour?
No,
it's 1:00 right now.
That's fine. We're almost done. There's only 2 more.
All right,
and then we're out. So this next one on the list, this will probably not surprise too many people if you're listening to this, but this is unironically one of the scariest movies I have ever seen. It's E.T., the extraterrestrial. Now, Mark's making a face at me. You can't see it because the camera's off. But I imagine many of you might be making a similar face. If you're making a face at that statement that is not vehemently nodding in agreement, then it sounds like it's been a minute since you've seen E.T. Go watch E.T. That movie is shot needlessly frighteningly. The opening, because when you think of the E.T. theme, you think like, da, da, na, and it's beautiful. But if you watch that movie, the opening music to the title sequence is just like this groaning, like it sounds like a rubber ball being rubbed on a cymbal. It's just this groaning, horrible tone. It opens with violins and strings and little goblins in shadow with long, creepy fingers digging in the dirt and grunting in a dark forest.
Right.
That's terrifying. And it does not get less scary from there.
I mean, could we just all go watch Stranger Things?
It's not nearly as scary.
No, okay, no. Really. So you're saying that, but does it carry it? Because obviously they're probably pulling upon certain aspects of E.T. when they're making a show like that.
Well, I haven't seen all of Stranger Things.
Okay.
But what I have seen of it, no goblins. The problem with Stranger Things, here's why E.T. is very scary to me, and here's why it makes sense if you're a hotel fan that E.T. would be scary for me. It's once again that why is it staring at me? E.T. is, one of the things I love about E.T. is that while he is a very cute thing, he's precious, he is also terribly ugly and just really scary looking, and a lot of that movie is him, like the scene where Elliot's waiting for him to come out of the shed and E.T. is just like squashy and his steam is coming off his body and he's backlit and you can't see his face and he's just staring at Elliot. Terrified me as a kid. E.T. screaming at him in the cornfield. Terrifying. He doesn't have cute noises in the way that like Hotel Transylvania is cute. He has a scary kind of voice. He has a croakingness about him. He has the squashy little feet. He can't move very well, but he seems to be able to get around not just the house, but the galaxy quite easily, which is the same sort of thing that Michael Myers does.
Yeah, question. Now, because some of this, I'm like, I grant you, yes, there's a scary quality to it. But were you just scared of how practical effects were made in the 80s?
Sure.
And 90s?
I was also like, 4 when I first saw it. So easier to scare me.
I only say it too because like something like Gremlins I found to be very scary. But now I guess you have the Mogwai that is like, he's cute, so you have the cute and then you have the ugly version of the cute. It's separated, but at the same time like all the weird, doesn't it have like boils that that definitely, it's funny that you bring that up because the first time I was shown that movie as a child, it was turned off. It was deemed too scary for me to be watching when Spike was melting in the fountain, which is ridiculous because that's the end of the movie. Nothing scary happens after that. So in retrospect, in fact, that's the end of the scare.
Right. Just let me finish.
Well, it's one of those like you can't unsee it sort of things that your folks were probably like, oh, but he's never going to be able to unsee that fountain.
Here's why Stranger Things no E.T. yes. to your Gremlins point.
Okay.
And this is also why I love horror movies so much now, and I was terrified of them growing up. It's because once I started watching horror movies, I went, oh, that's it? It's over? That's the whole scary thing? It was built up so much more in my mind.
Yes.
Now, Stranger Things,
I see that.
Gremlins, Spike, they are trying to be scary. You know, Vecna's like, I haven't seen season 4, but I've seen pictures and stuff of Vecna, and he's like, I'm a scary monster. I look like Swamp Thing. Everything's red and look how scary I am. And to a degree, sure, it can be scary when Pinhead shows up and he's like, I'm clearly some kind of hell Dracula.
Right.
But what is very much scarier to me is a neutral-looking thing just watching me from the shadows. That's the pale creature in whatever, Arnold Jackson's Room or whatever. It's just E.T. Basically, in my mind. It doesn't seem to be aggressive. It looks kind of scary, but it also doesn't, it's not designed to be scary like Vecna's clearly designed to be scary. Not that I mind things that are designed to be scary, of course, but it's not gonna, you're not gonna scare me as much. Like, what is more scary? What's a scarier thing that I could say to you right now? Like, Mark, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna tear your guts out. I'm gonna strip you down with a knife. Or me sort of softly weeping and saying, like, I'm so sorry as I step towards you.
I mean, I guess the latter in a way.
Clearly stacked the deck on
I
that
know
question.
I know which one you're pointing at, but I also kind of think I can explain why you're pointing at that one, why it works differently than the other. And I mean, part of the other is that I'm not entirely sure that I have a concept of what that even means, right. Let alone if I believe that you would actually do it. Now, if you were raving at, rabidly foaming at the mouth and spitting that out and doing things that are strange instead of just being Travis making idle promises, then I might think that it would be quite disturbing and scary, but I think it's a matter of intent. Right. And usually we don't get to that sort of point. But if that point where you're raving at me and saying, I'm going to do all these things, but the intent is there, then that would also probably be scary. But the idea of you just kind of approaching me and doing something, it's also something out of the ordinary. It's out of the normal scheme of things. I believe that something is going on that I don't know what it is.
Right. And that's what it is to the point I was making with some earlier movie that I can't remember. But it's that lack of knowledge. Exactly. That's the ghost, the thing that, like, why are you more afraid of a ghost than a person breaking into your house? It's because I know what the thing that is trying to be scary wants, and I know how to handle it.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that as well. We were just talking. It's the difference in movies where it's like some of the slasher films where it's like, this is a guy who goes in and, like, kills people, and I'm like, yeah, but like a bullet stops that guy, right? And then like the hook of the movie is like, it doesn't. he got up, and it's like, that's crazy. But I'm like, yeah, but it did before. It's one of those things where it's like, if it's something a bit more unknowable, if it's something demonic or something that like a ghost where it is just like spiritually like incorporeal, and then I guess people also kind of make those a bit more physical where they're like, yeah, but we're ghost hunters and we got like ghost bullets now and ghost equipment where we can make ghost traps. Yeah, where that kind of then
Ghostbusters also very scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Ghostbusters, as a child, certainly the scary moments. And like E.T., it's another thing of like, if you watch a scary movie, if you watch Freddy Krueger, the movie is pointed at, look how scary this guy is. So there's even a comfort there where when you are scared, you can go, but I'm meant to be. This is fine. Everything is going according to plan. When you're watching E.T., it's like, this is for kids and families. E.T. is your friend. He loves you. And then the first 30 minutes is him just terrorizing you like a swamp monster. And then when he becomes your friend, he gets sick and gets all pale and white and dies in a creek. And it's horrifying. He's reaching out like an old, pale, crusty dog turd with his horrible arms reaching out to you for help. And when Dee Wallace takes you away from him, E.T. just starts screaming on the bathroom floor. And then the government shows up. It's awful.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Oh, and E.T. is a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
They go to trick or treat.
Movie, yeah.
He wears a little costume. You know what? People on Twitter already know this, but I found I was going through the Make sure Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording. Okay.
As I was going through the greeting cards at CVS. And I was looking at the Halloween cards, and there was an E.T. one. Oh, how excited was I. On the cover, him going over the moon with the thing, and it's like Halloween. And I was like, great, let's crack this open and see what we got. And inside it just said something like, have a happy Halloween. Yeah. And I was so livid that we had a Halloween scene in this movie, and you're making a Halloween card, and you're just coming to me with like, happy Halloween, here's the moon.
Well, they don't want to scare people with their card.
Well, then you've made a bad Halloween card.
You open the card, and it's like... or whatever his noise is.
That's want that, yeah. Otherwise, just
what is his noise?
You can't really.
It's Owen Wilson.
If he smoked.
No.
Well, Mark
and Screechy. I think we have to get louder than that to do.
I'm just gonna edit in his noises when we do that.
Over us.
People will be like, wow, they're really good.
Okay.
At E.T.
That's good.
So we're down to our last.
If anyone's still around.
Anyone's still listening after all that. And this is a big one. This is why it's last. And listeners may not be shocked to hear this either. I'm sure I brought it up before. Bryan Fuller's Hannibal. That entire series. Hugely influential on me and on this show. Anytime I'm describing the show to anyone else, I will usually work that in as like flavor, if nothing else. The flowery language, the glassy, icy sinisterness of it. I even love like the music in that show is almost indistinguishable from sound design. It's just like lovely cacophonous noise. Hannibal himself seems to occupy almost a supernatural space beyond just being a murderer. He is like unable to be caught, right? And then the visuals of the show, which is very important in podcasting, is I think about these moments visually. When I'm coming up with these like rooms and these deaths and these moments of the cast, I'm thinking about moments in Hannibal where for no reason other than pure artistry, the filmmaking just breaks apart and you just get these like wild images of murderers and victims and flowers, and it's just, it's still network television, so it can't go like all the way to like House, the movie, not the Doctor Show levels of experimentation, but just things that are not explained, things that are done just for the beauty and the horror of it. And if that ain't the hotel, Mark.
I don't know.
And you got kind of a Hugh Dancy vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great.
No, it's good.
I'm ssure you guys would have crossed paths in audition rooms if you had been like starting out in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
Because that short we did like when I first got to LA, It's Not Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I remember your performance in that. I remember thinking even then, like, this guy, that's what Hugh Dancy looks like when he gets stabbed. Spoilers.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's never coming out. Wait,
I meant for Hannibal.
Oh, spoilers.
He's okay though.
I haven't
spoilers.
Wait, come on.
God, sorry.
I haven't seen it.
Well, it ended in 2014.
Parts of it.
Like you need or something like that. It's been a minute. You need to get on that.
So is that the whole list?
That's
Travis?
The whole list. I will put that in. I'll write a list out for you. I'll write a whole transcript of this, everything we just said, and put it in the
Don't
episode.
Worry about Mark's list
description. Do you have any?
No. I don't want this to be like the creator should have the list that you want curated and all.
Well, let's end it on a recommendation from you, because you're not a Halloween person, really.
No, not really. But I mean, like, as far as if we're gonna keep in line with the brushes with horror and whatnot, I guess there are a couple things that I always do reference in a way when I really like, I don't watch a bunch, but there's been a bit that I've come across that really affected me. One was Event Horizon.
Oh God! Oh, that's on my list too. I'm such an idiot.
Oh, sure it is.
Oh my God! Of course.
I loved Event Horizon. And I think that it was terribly, terribly spooky. Probably more than it should have been. But I know it just really hit me, and I feel like I I feel like I could hear like all of us, my friend group and I, we all went to see it, and afterwards we would like come back to each other the day after and would be like, "Are you also like hearing things?"
That movie, unreasonably scary. When it came out, terrified of that woman with no eyes, terrified of the burned guy. That was a terrifying film. Oh,
I thought that was really good. So I think that one would be check it out, and you're gonna notice a theme here because when it comes to video games. I will recommend again System Shock 2, which I really like. And while it's not, it's space, but I kind of think it's nice and like space horror-y. There are just the setting of you kind of waking up on a ship where everything went to pot. It's very much like scans that sort of Event Horizon route. Except there are, right off the bat, you see some guy with like a worm through his like head and body who's like running after someone else with a shotgun, like firing down the hall. But the creepy thing about that, I think, is how you discover the world. There are these weird like echoes that you run into. I came around the corner once the first time and definitely like play with headphones in the dark. The sound design is amazing.
You've referenced the sound design in editing.
Absolutely. I reference
2 and 3.
Yeah, I reference Shodan's voice. I reference the voice of the Many a lot. And I think the sound design is really, really freaking good. And I found out I've kind of followed some of the sound designers and voice actors. They did so many games that I grew up with and count amongst the best games that I've played. They did Thief Dark Project. I worked on that. I think some of them worked in some capacities on Deus Ex, the first one. So like really like games that made huge impacts on gaming in general, at least in my mind. And I think are very well worth it. But System Shock, so you encounter these little like apparitions, Shodan speaking to you. Sometimes the Many like pop in and start speaking to you. You're finding out about all of the crazy deaths that have happened on here as you encounter like the bodies of crew members and audio logs from what they were doing. It's a very cool experience.
Did you see on Twitter the other day, like yesterday or day before, someone referenced System Shock?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, they tweeted, they asked like, hey, have you played this? Do you know about this? They put a link to the video and they're like, that sounds like this. And I got to tell them, like, I do, because Mark
absolutely
on purpose
can't recommend it
puts
highly
it into
enough.
The show.
Such a good one. And then the other one that I will say, and continuing in space horror theme, a more modern title from System Shock that I think did really well in my book for the horror genre is Dead Space. And at least the first two, I haven't played the third one, but the first two are great.
That was the first one. I played that first one. It was very scary.
So scary. One of the things that I really like, it's such a simple thing, and a lot of games do it nowadays too. But like one thing about like Resident Evil games that was always, it was kind of one of those ways of getting out of the horror is when you went into your inventory, pause the game. But in Dead Space, it does not pause the game. You go into your inventory and it just kind of comes up to the side, but everything's still moving around. So you can't like kind of take a breather. You can't do inventory management. You can't like wrap your head around a situation. You are very much being pursued and not in a safe space. And I think that game does really cool things. Again, the audio design on some of these, especially like, you can tell I love space horror. So for me, those are like things that if you like that, if you're also into that sort of genre, and if you want to see some really great titles, I'd go.
If you like space horror, you should watch Star Trek First Contact.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Not the sixth one?
Oh, definitely watch The Undiscovered Country. I'll watch that right now.
Country.
I love that.
First Contact, okay.
Yeah, because of the Borg Queen.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like space zombies.
Yeah.
Alfred Woodard's in it too, so like guaranteed good time.
Okay.
Speaking of scary video games, this and then we're out. That Silent Hill demo, I forget what it's called, 2 p.m. or something. Silent Hill. It's like a little demo for a game that never got.
Yes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
One of our followers just sent that link to me again, reminding me of it.
Yeah, it has a strange name, and it's just a demo where you kind of walking through the same hallway, right?
Yeah,
very
terrifying.
scary.
Oh, and Fatal Frame.
Oh, Fatal.
I just remembered a bunch of horror games now that you've been talking about it.
There are a lot of good horror games. I mean, horror games, and especially like another thing that I haven't tried, but I think would be just because I'm not like full on into the horror genre, but I can't imagine playing any of these in VR as well.
Ooh.
Like putting the headphones on, getting in VR where you really can't get out of the experience.
You know, Lauren and I, years ago with Wes and Kristen, played this VR game because they had a VR headset where you have the headset on and you're like a giant moving among these buildings with these little people in it.
Oh, yeah?
And the people outside, like on the computer, they're controlling one of the people and you're trying to hide from the giant. Or no, maybe you also have this headset on.
Oh, you have to like
but
find...
basically, you're running from your friend who's a giant. They're trying to figure out which one you are.
Oh my God, that's...
and it was really, really unsettling to play as the Seekie. Not the Seeker.
Yeah.
The little one.
Right.
I don't know why I brought that up, because I can't remember the name of the game and clearly only have a loose grasp on how it's played. It should have ended on Fatal Frame.
That's okay. Giants looking for food is equally... I'm assuming you eat them, right? Once you find your friends. It's kind of like Rampage.
Yeah. Let's say yes. I don't remember,
right?
but
Do
let's...
they eat the things
in
in
Rampage? You can.
Yeah, I found that disturbing too. If we're talking about disturbing things, shoot, I was disturbed by Mortal Kombat growing up.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I would go to the arcade and I'd be like, Street Fighter, please.
Oh, no, I was Mortal Kombat. I wanted to see the skulls. And stuff.
See,
yeah, I was into it.
And then our paths converge, and
now we make the perfect podcast.
There you go.
And we give it to the perfect patrons. I'm looking at the camera again.
Camera's up.
Perfect patrons. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope we have given you enough delicious fodder for your Halloween season. We're certainly giving you... I'm trying to be very careful about not spoiling things, but I don't know how much I don't know what I'm putting into the announcements on the 15th, so maybe I'm dancing around stuff they already know. That you're in store for a really, really, really great Halloween. We've got a lot of really fun episodes, some special episodes. As you know,
I don't think this out's gonna get any cleaner.
For more information, listen to the announcements that you heard 2 weeks ago. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you next time on
Take
We
care.
Made the Hotel.
We made the hotel.
I have to pee so bad.
Bye.
Oh, bye.